Welcome to the Living a Nordic Life podcast, where we explore a simpler, cosier and more intentional life the Nordic way. I'm Fiona McKenna, your Nordic living guide and founder of Living a Nordic Life, where I share all things Nordic living and show you that a Nordic life is the way to bring intentional calm and healthy habits into your own life, wherever you are in the world. Are you looking for ways to bring simplicity, coziness and calm into your life? Well, let me show you how. Visit the Living a Nordic Life website to explore how I can help you on your journey to simple, healthy and happy calm, the Nordic way. You can subscribe to the podcast right here. And if you want regular inspirational emails sent with love from Norway and straight to your inbox, don't forget to subscribe to the Living a Nordic Life newsletters. And so now let's dive into our episode. Welcome to Sámi National Day. I want to talk to you about the history of it and how to prepare. Every year, on the 6th of February, the Sami people, who are the indigenous inhabitants of Sami, the region that spans northern Norway, Sweden, Finland and Russia. Now, if you can imagine, or look at a map rather than imagine, that whole northern bit that goes all along that top part of northern Europe, that is where the Sami are from. And every year on the 6th of February they celebrate Sámi National Day. In fact, we celebrate Sámi National Day, all of us here in Norway. And it's a powerful symbol of identity, culture and resilience. It honours the traditions, the language and the history of one of Europe's oldest indigenous communities. In fact, they are Europe's only indigenous people. For those interested in Nordic culture, Sámi National Day offers a window into the vibrant heritage that survived centuries of colonisation, assimilation and modern pressures. It hasn't been easy. In fact, to say it hasn't been easy is an understatement. They have been seriously persecuted. But let's talk about what we need to know about the history of this important day and how to celebrate it properly in a respectful way, but in a way that actually celebrates the Sami people, because they are an important part of Nordic and Russian culture. So let's talk about the history of Sámi National Day. It was officially recognised in 1993, so not a long time ago, I have to say. And that was after decades of advocacy for Sami rights and cultural recognition. The chosen date, 6th of February, commemorates the first Sami Congress. And that was held in Trondheim in Norway, in northern Norway, in 1917. It was an historic moment for the Sami political organisation, bringing together representatives from across Norway and Sweden to discuss land rights, language preservation, education and cultural autonomy. Finland and Russia did not participate in the 1917 Congress, but since then, the 6th of February has been embraced across the Sami homeland as a unifying day to celebrate identity and culture, and to remind all of us about it as well. In Norway, Sweden and Finland, is a public celebration. It's a public celebration not only in Sami communities, but actually throughout the whole country. In Norway, the 6th of February is a national flag day, and we have these special days when flags are raised on public buildings. And that is one of those days. And not only is the Norwegian flag raised, but the Sami flag is also raised. The week leading up to it, there are celebrations. Children learn about Sami culture in schools, and a lot of the schools actually have children who have Sami heritage, which is really exciting because then the kids get to experience it firsthand. Even in our little village school here in southern Norway, there are children whose parents are Sami or whose grandparents are Sami, and children who have Sami national dress as well, which they bring in and show to the other kids. It's really exciting, and they learn about the language, the flag, the food, the culture. I mean, when they're little, of course, not the finer points of it, because not all of it has been a happy experience for the Sami communities, but Later on, the political situation. The day is not only celebratory, though, it's also reflective. It symbolises centuries of resistance against forced assimilation policies, you can imagine. I mean, if you want to Google that, go right ahead, because there's a lot that you can read about it. And also the suppression of language, because the Sami language is a language on its own. And although it's not taught in school, one of my teenagers, when she was in 5th, 6th grade, learnt Sami because one of the teachers spoke Sami, which is exciting, isn't it? And also the loss of traditional livelihoods such as reindeer herding. Now in Norway there are strict rules about reindeer herding. You can only herd reindeer if you have Sami heritage or you are Sami. You can't just... I couldn't go and think, oh, I want to be a reindeer herder. That's not going to happen. It's not allowed. And by commemorating the first Sami Congress, Sámi National Day serves as both a reminder of past struggles and a celebration of ongoing cultural resilience. So let's talk about the Sami flag and national symbols. The Sami flag it's not that old actually. It was designed in 1986 by Astrid Baal and is one of the most recognised symbols of Sami identity. It's red, green, yellow and blue. Colours traditionally associated with Sami clothing and Sami art and cultural symbols. A circle is divided into red and blue halves, representing the sun, the red, and the moon, the blue, inspired by ancient Sami shamanistic symbols. It's cool, isn't it? It's a very recognisable flag. If you see it, you remember it instantly. The Sami anthem, Song of the Sami Peoples, was written in 1906 and it's often sung during celebrations. The anthem emphasises unity, pride and the deep connection that the Sami people have to their land and their traditions. Traditional Sami clothing, known as gákti, is also a central feature of the day. The colours, patterns and decorations vary by region and family, a little bit like Norwegian bunad. You know, they're not all exactly the same, but if you see Sámi national dress, it's very distinctive. Very distinctive shoes, very distinctive skirt that's kind of stiff and wavy and sticks out, and the shoes are pointy, and it's amazing. And they're worn proudly during ceremonies, parades and cultural gatherings. What about the cultural celebrations across the Nordics? Let's talk about that. And it's marked by a kind of mix of formal and informal celebrations and local festivities. Typical celebrations might include flag-raising ceremonies, like I talked about, and that's at town halls, schools and Sami cultural centres, but also throughout Norway. It's on public buildings as well, because it's one of our flag days. There are traditional music performances, and the traditional music of the Sami is called a joik. And it's a very beautiful, haunting way of singing. There are traditional joiks and there are more modern ones. But if you go onto YouTube and Google it, and it's spelt J, that's how we pronounce it here, O-I-K. And it's music that reminds you of those beautiful parts of the northern Nordics, mountains, wide open spaces, the weather and the wilderness, and it's just amazing. There are cultural workshops and exhibitions highlighting handicrafts, traditional Sami arts and crafts, reindeer herding techniques, and of course storytelling. And there are parades and community gatherings, often with children and elders kind of participating together and creating an intergenerational celebration of heritage, which is always important, isn't it, for all of us? And that goes together with the storytelling as well. These things need to be passed down through different generations. In larger cities that are predominantly Sami, like Karasjok and Kautokeino in Norway, the day often features public concerts, lectures and guided cultural experiences. In fact, that is where the Sámi National Parliament is. And of course, as in so many celebrations, food plays an important part. Sami cuisine is often based on reindeer, fish, berries, and different types of flatbread. And it's shared throughout the day. In fact, I always really like to cook Sami food on Sámi National Day. We love it. It's rich and filling and fragrant, and it's perfect for the winter. But there are traditional dishes like smoked reindeer meat or bidos, which is a hearty reindeer stew with a few vegetables in it. And that connects us with these centuries-old culinary traditions which we need to keep alive. So, how can we prepare and celebrate Sámi National Day ourselves? You don't have to be Sámi, you don't have to have Sámi heritage. You can still celebrate and add a little bit of addition to it, support if you like. So if you want to celebrate Sámi National Day respectfully, preparation is key. You need to learn about Sámi history and the Sámi culture. Understanding the significance of the day is essential. And it's also worth Googling the struggles that they've had. It's been hard, and particularly here in Norway has been very difficult. And up till quite recently, there were some very good films about it, actually, and documentaries. You want to have a look at those. You can read about the Sámi people, their language, and their traditional livelihoods. And I'm going to put a link at the bottom of here, actually, which will take you to a website which tells you all about Sámi heritage and the culture, music, food, everything. And also the history of the political struggles, because these things are never easy, are they? And that reminds us of the deep meaning of the day and ensures that celebrations are respectful and informed. It's not just a case of dressing up and eating food. It's also understanding why we need to celebrate it and we need to remember it. You can display the Sámi flag. The flag is flown at official events, schools, private homes in Sámi regions. But don't just use it as a decoration, any more than you would want your own flag to be used as a decoration. Understand the symbol of it a little bit and the representation of identity, resilience and heritage. I think that's important, but I know you're going to do that. You could wear traditional clothing, if it's invited or if it's appropriate, or if you have Sámi heritage, and if you do, wow, that's brilliant. I'm very envious. Wearing the gákti is a sign of respect and participation in the culture. If you don't wear one, you could attend events in a smart outfit, a bit like we do on National Day here in Norway on May the 17th. But there are also workshops or cultural centres that offer demonstrations or rental of traditional clothing. Might be able to do that. If you're lucky enough to be in the Sámi region or in Norway, you could attend local events. Lots hold public lectures, workshops and performances, and these provide opportunities to experience Sámi music, Sámi art and Sámi food firsthand. You need to have a look at the community calendars for parades, concerts, celebrations, exhibitions. But you can also look online because a lot of these are actually posted on YouTube. So, you can bring it into your house as well. You can put it on the TV and you can bring it into your house and feel like you're there. And a lot of these things are actually filmed in real time. So there's no kind of rushing through it. That's very Nordic actually to film something in real time and it to be very slow. And that's lovely because you feel like you're part of it. You could support Sámi artists and Sámi craftspeople, and that doesn't matter where you are, because things can be made and they can be posted to you. So you can purchase Sámi handicrafts made with wood, leather, textiles, really beautifully made. And that supports Indigenous artisans and helps preserve cultural traditions and also injects a little bit of money into whichever community. It's good to do that, isn't it? And I'm sure if you look for those things, you'll be able to find them. You could try Sámi foods. And it's a perfect time of year to eat Sámi food because a lot of it, like I said, is nourishing, quite hearty, very fragrant, fairly meaty, I have to say. So if you're vegetarian, it might not be for you. I suppose you could remove some of the meat. But things like bidos, smoked reindeer, cloudberry desserts, lingonberry desserts, all these delicious things. Simple tasting experience, which could connect you to Sami cultural heritage and Sami culinary heritage. So, why does Sámi National Day matter today? It's more than just a celebration. It's a reminder of cultural survival. The Sami faced centuries of colonisation, forced assimilation, and suppression of language and traditions. I won't go into too much detail, but do go and look up these things, because it was very difficult, and especially here in Norway, and not that in that distant a past, I have to say. Today, recognition of the day and the promotion of Sami culture helps strengthen identity. It ensures language preservation, and it maintains those traditions that define a community that has roots that go back thousands of years. You know, beyond borders, these kind of made borders that really aren't that old, are they? When you think about it, these created borders. And actually, Sami lands are, were there way before. But for visitors and people who are interested in Nordic culture, Sámi National Day offers an opportunity to witness the resilience of an Indigenous people, to participate in traditions that honour the natural world, and to deepen understanding of a culture that thrives in the far north. I'm going to share a link actually to a wonderful documentary that was on NRK, which is our national TV station here in Norway. It was about a Sami reindeer herding family and about how they lived, and it followed them in real time. It was fantastic, and it was it was a series, so it was several episodes, I think. It's been a couple of years since I watched it actually, but I watched it several times because I loved it so much. But it was really interesting about how far they have to travel and to herd the reindeer and the struggles that they have, but also the beautiful life that they do lead. It's wonderful. So, February the 6th is a day of pride, reflection and celebration for the Sami people. From the first Sami Congress in 1917 to the modern festivities spanning Norway, Sweden, Finland, Russia and beyond. It's a reminder of the power of culture, community and resilience. So, whether you're attending a parade in Karasjok, exploring a cultural centre, or learning about Sami traditions from afar, from wherever you are, it's always good to expand our knowledge, isn't it? Preparation and respect are key. Of course they are, the same as it would be if somebody was celebrating our culture. Learn about the history, admire the traditional clothing. Please do that, because the traditional clothing is just beautiful, and especially if you look up Sami wedding. Oh my goodness, it's absolutely stunning. But enjoy the music. The music is incredible as well. Food, and celebrate the enduring spirit of the Sami people, because it is part of our Nordic culture as well. And by doing that, you honour one of the richest Indigenous cultures in Europe, in its past, in its present, and in the future. And I will see you in the next episode. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the Living a Nordic Life newsletters so you can get an email when I release a new episode. It's a quick and easy way to keep up with all things Nordic living. Please visit livinganordiclife.com. You can listen to Living a Nordic Life on lots of podcast apps, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, and plenty of others. If you've enjoyed the Living a Nordic Life podcast, why not leave me a rating? So that's the end of Living a Nordic Life for today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.